episode 18 of Anime for Trashdwellers, and we are talking about it's winter troop time, guys. Winter troop. It's the last troop. It makes me so sad. Well, all you can do is hope that it goes off with a bang. It opens with that God Theatre kid who quit, and he runs into some kid with blue hair and blue eyes. It's very pretty. And he glares at him, the air tense, and says, "What are you doing here?" And scene cuts. Like, okay, glad you're letting us know that there's drama right from the get-go, but not what the actual drama is. So this time round, Personality-chan hasn't had time to wrangle in some newcomers for the winter troop, I guess because she was too busy dealing with all the drama from God Theatre. Photographer-chan states, "Don't worry, Monkai Theatre's more popular now. You're still a bloody tiny 200-seater theatre. That's not exactly going to be enticing for actors." Awkwardly enough, this anime aired during COVID, a time when I have heard of at least one Japanese theatre company forced to close down, so I'm not sure how well the theatre district bared COVID, especially if it's anywhere near as lively and populous as the anime portrays it being. Surprise, surprise, it's so popular now that only 2 people arrive on their own. One of them being that Jack Frost looking fucker from before, and the long white hair guy who was in the audience for the gangster play. Personality-chan realizes it was a bad idea to let Autumn Troupe help her with the auditions because they're mostly menacing motherfuckers who don't know how to interact with people normally. This time round, Personality-chan specifically asks one of them what they do for a job, purely so that they could say, "Oh, I used to work as a cuddler." And Evil Red, man, he's so impressed with such a mature job. I'm sure he was imagining just how many love triangles you could create in that line of work. Then he explains, "Oh no, I didn't fuck them. I just lay next to them in bed. It's much more wholesome." Yep, sure. Why not? Personality-chan tries to justify in her head that it wasn't sex work because he'd listened to the customers moan away, so it was more like counseling. Just to be clear, these people could receive professional counseling or they could lie in a bed next to a hot guy. See how they don't really offer the same service? Cuddler-chan even says he auditioned because he saw Hot Hair and Gangster do a street performance. Okay, when did that happen? Because we sure as hell didn't get to see that. Lame. Because there are so few people here this time round. They are so fucking lax with the audition. Personality-chan's just there like, yeah, fuck it. Just talk on your phone for a bit. Which both actors are able to do with fair ease. And Cuddler-chan asks, "So when do we hear back our results for the audition?" Like, mate, there are 2 of you here. 2! Of course they pass. We know how this shit goes. So then the 2 newbies do a street performance with the Autumn Troupe. It's another gangster-based one because they don't want to let Hot Hair prove that he can act more than just gangsters. God damn it! This performance does entice in someone with some of the most frustrating hair I've seen. It's like those long side bangs, but one is way thicker and longer than the other. And hey, guess what type of people get enticed into joining a theatre company via a street performance? Fucking weird ones. He is a poet. And when they don't believe him, he tells them to Google him and then proceeds to recite poetry. On Hard Quiz, Aussie quiz show, they had a poet on and he acted just like this guy does. So no, this character isn't over the top for the sake of humor. He is an incredibly realistic portrayal of what poets are like. After his recital, Hot Hair goes, "Psst, gangster. What did any of that mean?" And Gangster's like, "Fuck if I know." And Hot Hair's like, "Your whole character arc was around what a natural born genius you are. Fucking act like it." The ex-God Theatre kid walks along and Evil Red's all friendly to him since he used to be part of God Theatre too. Basically, the head of God Theatre has managed to hold off this guy from getting hired by any of the other theatres in town. But not Monkai Company, because they're too little and shit for that. So guess who's the latest member of the Winter Troupe? even though he spies Jack Frost and outwardly shows his displeasure towards him. But look, he's a desperate actor in need of work, and this is a step above auditioning for a commercial where he has to dress up as a toothpaste. They reckon 2's good enough for now, so they head home, only to find someone collapsed in front of their building. Everyone's freaking out about calling the ambulance, and Andy Warhol goes up to him, feels his pulse, and is like, nah, he's just sleeping. So everyone's hovering over him as he lies on the couch. Everyone's real tense as he wakes in and out of consciousness. This mysterious individual, not knowing who he is, but at the same time not wanting to go to the police. And Personality Chan really thinks that this is the right time to ask him to join their theatre company. He doesn't really agree to, but everyone's like, oh, you can just come along to rehearsals and see. Like, they're fucking counting him as their 5th member, even if he does nothing but be's a fucking tree in the school play. When gazing on this sleeping kid, Po-chan muses that he looks like Sleeping Beauty, and Cuddler-chan states, but he's a guy! Yeah, but he's still real fucking pretty, so shut your toxic masculinity ass up! Shai-chan asks Hot Hair what the new Troupe's like, and he's like, real fucking weird, which, I mean, look, every troupe has its fair share of weirdos, but I guess even the Winter Troupe stands out as being the weirdest. They sort out rooms, and Po-chan volunteers to share a room with Sleep Boy, because since he's sleeping, he's gonna be nice and quiet and allow him to continue writing poetry. Look, it's poetry. For something like a novel, yes, I can see why you'd need a bit more peace and quiet, but poetry? You can fucking jot that shit down in your phone for fuck's sake. We even saw this can't make up a poem on the spot about the roomeliness of Munkai Theatre or some shit. Cuddler-chan gets the room to himself and he says, I think it'll be nice sleeping alone. Like, Jesus, what shit did you see whilst working as a cuddler? Jack Frost and God Theatre Guy are put in the same room, Personality Chan having to ask if they're okay with it since she hasn't had enough emotional intelligence to know how fucking awkward they are around one another. After everyone's decorated their rooms all cute, they're worried because, obviously enough, Sleep Boy's side of the room is bare. I don't think he has left the dorm since he arrived there, so I'm not sure why people are so shocked to see him with no cute knickknacks to cutesy up his room. And they make the important point that he has no sheets. And yes, this is important. Sleeping without sheets is disgusting. Like that one effing idol who keeps posting photos of him on his bed with no sheets, and it is so gross, but no one mentions it, no one brings it up because all his fans are like fucking 12 years old. So they go on a road trip. God Theatre's X-Star wasn't going to go, but was forced to when he realized no one else drove, or drove often/well. This makes sense, since Tokyo is a city with excellent public transport and is landscaped to be easy to walk from place to place too, so it's not a requirement to make living easier like it is in other countries. It's late by the time they get back, and Sleep Boy asks them to pull over. He rushes onto a beach with pretty stars and moonlight and says, I washed up here. So we now have a kid that's there to appeal to people who like the child with psychic abilities escaped from a research facility stereotype. Whilst I was watching it and he was passed down the couch, I kind of joked to myself about this, but it is pretty much turned out to be true. Wonder if Illuminati-chan was there too. Ex-God Theatre Guy talks to Jack Frost about him giving up on or quitting something before. Also, you can tell ex-God Theatre Guy's a proper actor because he wears all black like a true professional. Maybe because he was wearing them to work and found it cheaper to keep wearing them than to buy himself nice casual gear for outside of work. Episode 20! It begins with a flashback to what looks like an old manor in the countryside, where ex-God Theatre Guy, we'll call him real actor from now on because that name's too long, and Jack Frost are at a drama school. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if my mate went to a fancy expensive drama school just to drop out before graduation. Like, that'd be a bit sucky. If it was after his first year of it, then sure. But if it was right at the end of the degree, yeah, that's sucky. Anyway, they're doing improv and Jack Frost is reminding real actor to accept any offers given, and real actor responds, well, yeah, I would if they weren't so fucking shit. Present day. And the members do etudes again. Sleep Boy pretending to be an over-it fast food employee, and everyone's impressed at how he captures the laziness and bored attitude of the fast food employee. Like, nah, mate, it's just him being him. He is tired and bored and doesn't want to do acting. He just wants to sleep. Then Poet just basically acts as himself, aka loud and strange and over the top, and everyone's like, wow, that's so good. And I'm here like, scripter, make notes. Either you write this guy's character like this or he ain't gonna be able to act. So, they're out on the street doing more acting. And who comes along but that little prick from God Theatre? Thank Christ he didn't end up joining Monkai. You can't believe real actor betrayed God Theatre and joined Monkai. Like, your boss made it so that he couldn't join any of the other theatre companies, so that's all he could do. Real actor calls this prick by his real name, and I'm not sure what natural accent of his slips out in frustration, but we'll say it's a bogan one. Speaking of him, the boss arrives and he challenges them to an act-off. Fuck yeah! Stupid acting tournament bullshit that makes no sense. Jack Frost quickly describes it as, oh no, an act-off. That's where the audience see both the shows and then vote on which was better. I have questions. Many questions that certainly weren't answered this episode, and hopefully will be answered in future episodes. So, will this work as like a side piece they're working on, like the Autumn Troupe and their monologues, or is it going to be their actual play? Because if that's the case, people will have to sit through 2 full-length plays, one after the other. Like, they're just gonna vote for their first play, because by the time they finish watching the second play, they'll be so over it. Is it going to be in the one theatre or 2 theatres? Because if it's in separate theatres, then that's not fair, because Godtroop's gonna house way more people than Monkai Theatre. The rules for the act-off are that if Monkai win, they get all of God Theatre's earnings for their show. But if Monkai Theatre lose, then they have to close the theatre. They have a week to decide. Some members are playing mahjong, including Prince Chan, meaning that there's at least one joke about his bad Japanese. And the old comedian is reminiscing about how this is like the Troupe's good old days, where it's all rowdy and the line between having fun and running an illegal gambling scheme are kind of blurred. Then he retells everyone the ghost stories at the theatre, including Torment Doll, where when 2 actors were fighting, the Torment Doll forced them to become besties again. Just like Andy Warhol's handcuffs from Autumn Troupe arc. Poet's there like, yeah, that's a load of crock. And Personality Chan's like, what? You, Mr. fucking weirdo, doesn't believe in ghosts? It's like me being surprised whenever I meet a vegan who's cool with vaccinations. Like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but have you seen some of the vegans out there? They're picking the leader for the Winter Troupe, and Jack Frost's just like, well, if no one else wants it, I'll go for it. But, like, if you want it, just say. And real actors, they're like, for fuck's sake, stop being a bitch. Everyone's debating about the act-off, and Andy Warhol brings up that, yeah, if they want to pay off their loan, they're gonna need them ticket earnings. Okay, hold the fuck up. At the start of the series, you said all they had to do to keep the theatre open was to sell out their shows. But now you're changing the rules? Plus, they owe their money to you, but you work for them now. Surely you could get a mates rates deal going on here? Next day, it's rehearsal. We haven't even seen the script yet, guys. Oh well, I guess it's just building up on their acting skills until it's written. Personality Chan sees Jack Frost being unsure of himself and real actor being super grumpy, and she's like, you know what? I'll just wait for them to calm down before I ask about the act-off. Poet wrote a crappy poem for Jack Frost. Like, every word is in English except the last rhyming word of every line that's in Japanese. But still Cuddler's there like, wow, that's really good. Like, he worked too long being paid to be nice to people that it's now become a force of habit. Sleep boy sleeping. But they find that his mouth will open if you throw a marshmallow at it, but he won't actually awaken. Just fucking throw two at once or some water when his mouth opens so that he chokes himself away or die in his sleep. But you're all supposed to be dedicated to theatre. And I think waking him up for the pursuit of theatre is worth the risk of accidentally killing him. At the end of the day, Personality-chan has to ask them the big question of whether or not they're doing the act-off. Jack Frost brings up the important point that without this act-off gig, the company will die. Everyone agrees that, yeah, that's a pretty good reason to do it. But then he says, but I don't think we can succeed with me as the lead. Maybe if it were real actor instead. And he's just like, you didn't spend years at acting school for this. And storms out. So that went really well. Jack Frost is sitting there looking sad with a stuffed animal in his hands. And he wishes that he and real actor could talk like they used to in the old days. But like, we saw that flashback, mate. And saw that you two didn't even get along that swimmingly. The doll flashes, and it is morning. Specifically yesterday morning. Guys, there is magic in this arc. Is it because it's the winter troupe, aka Christmas troupe, and Christmas is magical? Like, every troupe really does get weirder the further along in the anime they're introduced. So it's Groundhog Day that both Jack Frost and real actor are living through. So I guess that doll was the torment doll ghost thing. Hence why there were so many fun shenanigans at last rehearsal so that them as characters and we as the audience realize that we're living on the same day. Now, this time round, when Personality-chan asks about whether or not they're doing the act-off, Jack Frost responds exactly the same way as before. Look, I know I will never be in this situation, but if I were, I would not be that dumb. Like, you have obviously been sent back due to some regret that you have to change. And the regret is this moment. And real actor still has a tizzy and goes off running? Okay, just because Jack Frost fucked up doesn't mean you have to too. And then it ends with Illuminati-chan on the roof at night with a triangle doll. So did he deliver the torment doll the night before? Does this doll also cause him to be part of Groundhog Day, even though this has nothing to do with the current drama going on? Or does this triangle doll have a different magical power? Episode 21, living their Groundhog Day life, and Jack Frost realizes that the only thing that doesn't reset during Groundhog Day is that plushie he found. Smart boy. Illuminati-chan jumps them from the roof to let them know that, hey, he doesn't get to keep any of the triangles he keeps finding because they keep fucking up Groundhog Day. God damn it! He informs them that, yes, this weird plushie thing is the tormentor, and they gotta sort out their feelings with one another in order to set things straight. And then he fucking parkours away back on the roof like the weird mystical messenger he is. So we are now in this situation where these guys can figure out that the one inanimate object that doesn't change from day to day, but they don't realize that the thing they have to make up over is that fight they had where real actor got so fucking mad he stormed out of the room. So they figure they gotta make up in front of the doll. So they start off by holding hands, arms around each other's shoulders. Real actor's grimacing, so he gives them that $1 million smile he said he was required to learn at Gold Theatre, lol. They reminisce about past acting memories, Jack Frost being like, yeah, remember how I was fucking sick at acting? They continue on with cutesy idol fan service shit, and then they just reckon, yep, that's good enough, yeah. If the doll just needed to feel, then it would be, but that ego shit doesn't cut it, and it's Groundhog Day again, bitch. They still don't show the fight, but I think they imply that they still have this fight on the, fourth day that they've been doing this shit, ugh. You don't even have to change as much as Bill Murray does, and you're still struggling. This time they do at least do something different. Real actor just starts improving in the street. If I had a friend like that, I would leave. I would up and leave and block them in order to prevent any more horrific incidents like that occurring. And yeah, Jack Frost's initial response is like, what the fuck are you doing? What is going on? And I have no idea. And then real actor just hits him with, well, you're never around so you wouldn't know that Dad quit his job. Like, fuck, what a full offer. There was so much to offer on that plate. Jack Frost wouldn't be able to eat it all. This obviously leads to the conclusion that Jack Frost will have to get his lawyer involved. Damn, Jack Frost just decided to give his old Jerry Seinfeld twist on that drama. I feel like with a lot of the ad-libs these guys do, they often involve brothers and fathers, like men can interact with one another in meaningful ways outside of being related to one another. But during the improv, they both get very method acting with it, if you get my drift. And afterwards, real actors like, man, you really got into it midway through it. And Jack Frost is like, I know, right? It's almost like I was fucking furious at you for real. Jack Frost is ready for the Monk Eye Theatre meeting, and this time round he tells everyone that he is just fucking sick at acting. Like, he won so many awards at uni for it, no joke, but he dramatically quit acting after failing to get into God Theatre. I really like them bringing up this very real hurdle for acting. How lots of actors will lose confidence and quit because they kept failing auditions. Gaten Matarazzo, the kid who played Dustin in Stranger Things, said in an interview that he failed like 100 auditions for TV roles before getting Stranger Things. Like, holy shit. But this kid failed one audition. Just one. I guess because he was so fantastic and marvelous at acting, he just knew he'd get in. Even though he like hot, but he isn't like manly hot, he like soft hot. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess he looks more like the lead singer of a faux indie rock group as opposed to the lead singer of an actual rock group, you know? But yeah, surely this kid figured that he could just audition for another theatre company. But I guess he couldn't. He specifically stated that at the audition, the evil head said he was a talentless fraud. And everyone's just all in agreement. Of course he did that no good scoundrel. So he mentions he went into another line of work but was still yearning for the stage. Okay. I really want to know what other line of work a kid with an acting degree got into. Fucking for all we know, he could have just been working the bedroom along from Cuddler-chan. So he came here. But now he's like, fuck it. I'm like the fucking shit at acting. Let's take on them God Theatre cocksuckers. And everyone rejoices. Hooray! We are now on our last hope of saving the theatre instead of no hope. They go to bed. Personality Chan on the phone telling God Theatre to bring it. They wake up and it is obviously the next day. This anime is about acting. And it's not about to refuse the offer of taking on God Theatre. Another meaning, or it's the same meaning. These episodes move really fast, okay? It's kind of hard to keep up with where they're heading. There is one stipulation for their play, which is that it has to be about angels. Okay. Simi Boy thinks about the gorgeous outfits they'll make, and real actors like, yeah, nah, we can't do that. And Simi Boy like, are you saying that they're better than us? And he's like, no, it's just the budget of the most successful theatre in this district is gonna be quite a bit more than the budget of a theatre that is drowning in debt. So they think simplistic, they think mature, they think tragedy. And that's the theme for the play, is a tragedy. This is not so much a tragedy, but more so something I was hoping they were going to cover, and I'm very glad they did. It's wanky art theatre, yes! Wanky art theatre. If you learn any theatre at a high school or above level, you will be exposed to this type of theatre. Plays with deep meanings portrayed in abstract monologues that are wanky and boring. I am so looking forward to this. And hopefully God Theatre will put on a musical, and then I will have gotten just about everything I could want from this series. Yay! It'll only be just about, because this late in the series they're not going to be teaching any of their actors method acting techniques. No semen-filled envelopes for you. Someone comments, a tragedy. It will be quite different from the other plays. Considering two of the other plays, Romeo No Homeo and The Godfather were supposed to be filled with bloodshed, but were only filled with absolutely none bloodshed. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a stretch for the scriptwriter. Also, mature. I love that because they specifically say, yes, this troupe has a more mature feel to it. Whilst dead-ass 30-year-old Annie Warhol who runs his own fucking business sits there in silence. Though this is the troupe with the least amount of high schoolers in it, it only has one. Script is gonna take a crack at writing it. Kinda sucks because they do have a new writer in their mix, Poet-chan. I know he only writes weird / kinda shit haikus, but that's exactly the type of thing wanky theatre loves. Real actors looking forward to this role, because he complains that in God Theatre, all he got to perform were princely types. Oh yeah, God Theatre is definitely one of those theatres that does anime stage play adaptations. Fucking Token Ranbu Hanamaru, aka Cute Sword Boys, which its gacha game was only created in 2015, has 7 stage plays. 7! That is literally more than 1 stage play a year. Imagine if it were the same actors for every show. Fuck me, no wonder he was glad to be rid of God Theatre. When Scripted-chan passes out from writing the script and they're reading over it, they are impressed with how mature it is. Look, I will be the judge of that. I am not jumping with excitement for this play, no. I am seething with it. I am lurking in the shadows, slowly muttering, yes, as I wait for the unimaginable disaster, because not a single one of these plays so far has shown a single ounce of maturity. They all feel like they're written by a teenager. I just need to see what that is like when they're trying to cover a deep artsy piece. Episode 22! Good news, everyone! The costumes are here! This time made by a sleep-deprived Simi Boy and Evil Red, and they are actual angel outfits. When they said it'd be like an artsy sort of show, and in the intro they're wearing much more simplistic outfits, I assumed it'd be them, but it's once again very pretty angel outfits. Though they seem a bit gaudy for this type of play, but whatever, they're pretty, so who cares? The acting coach is back now, no surprise or introduction needed, it's the 4th time round, of course he's gonna be here. And he reckons Winch Troupe is the best troupe so far. Ooh. But the only problem is that the cast isn't too comfy with each other, which shows a bit in their acting. Yeah, makes sense. So he suggests that Jack Frost, since he's the leader, takes the boys out for a bit of booze. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, Winter Troupe is the first troupe in which all the members are legal. Ye fucking whore! / no longer feeling depressed that there's 14-year-olds on screen who work professionally as actors. Color-chan says he knows a great spot, and no, he doesn't just take them to the cuddler center that allows alcohol, but to an actual swanky bar. He works in the nightlife district. He knows where all the best bars in town are. Once they get to said bar, ooh, they start talking about girls. It starts off strong with Personality-chan saying that she's too dedicated to running the theater to have a partner. The point of having a partner is to have someone help support you mentally and to whinge about work too. Just admit you're single because you don't like anyone, ATM, instead of making it some kind of moral crusade. Jack Frost words it that his relationship ended when he wanted to pursue acting, but then he says, yeah, she was really understanding. Okay. I know you weren't previously living in Tokyo, but did you seriously dump your girl because of acting? Because that is so terrible. She took it well. Yeah, I bet she took it well. I bet she took it so well she went and cried herself to sleep for a week. Man, I want the distraught ex to come to a performance and fucking ruin it with her screaming, why did you leave me? Kyla-chan states that he's been in many relationships, but he wouldn't consider any of them lovers. And the others are too chicken to hear more about his mature relationships. Surprise, surprise, the weird guy who spouts poetry out at random is a virgin. And a defensive one at that. Sleepy-chan, they're smashing drinks and smashing darts, and they're like, whoa, it's almost like he's not human. Okay, we, the audience, have cued in on the escaped lab rat plot going on here in a show that does have established fantasy elements in it. Bruh, just get with the program. Poet mentions he's been feeling eyes on him, and everyone else reckons that, yeah, they have too. Personality Chan asks if this small night out at a quiet bar getting wasted was enough to bring them together. And they're like, bruh, seriously, we're not going to be besties after a couple of beers. We're not Australians or anything. And the next day, when they're handing out flyers, they do indeed see the eyes, which is a guy in a black suit, black sunglasses, and a black fedora. Like, oh yeah, this is definitely God's theatre work. Only they would assume that a person tailing everyone around must be dressed like a crony in a spy film. He whispers to Jack Frost that he only challenged them to the act-off because he's getting back at God Theatre for not accepting him. Cue image of God Theatre's evil head evilly laughing at Jack Frost's resume. Mwahaha! With this information, I'll ruin him! Yeah, only a theatre would assume that you could get back at or ruin someone through exposing they failed an audition. Plus, it feels very petty against the much more real response of, so that our theatre can stay open? Then he whispers to Cuddler Chan about being a colour and that Sleepy Chan's an illegal immigrant. Out of these threats, only Sleepy Chan's is an actual one since they could have him deported back to the lab, but the others are just dumb shit. Nevertheless, it still upsets everyone and makes them awkward at rehearsal, especially when someone suggests that the info was leaked by a spy. Oh, come on, guys. We've already had a mole in Mankai Theatre. They're not going to go for the same gimmick again. Po-chan spraying some truth around, telling everyone why they're stressed about their secrets getting exposed, which just leads to everyone feeling too awkward to rehearse. Bunch of full of themselves losers they are. Po-chan just here saying that as it is. He and Personality Chan go to the nice bar again. Okay. This is definitely the nicest place she's been able to D&M with someone. Like, yeah, girl, get sloppy drunk as payment for listening to their woes. So Poet-chan isn't a virgin. I am shocked. No, he has an ex, but the relationship fell apart because he just can't tell what others are thinking and hence says the wrong things. He mentions he made them cry multiple times. Like, Jesus, that is bad. Whilst he's feeling upset, he runs into another artifact from the old Troupe's ghost stories. This one is a magnifying glass where when you see through it, you can see people's thoughts. Just what he needs. So he confronts everyone, magnifying glass in hand, and first apologizes, and is satisfied with people accepting it, except for Sleepy-chan, who could give less than two shits about his apologies and just wants food. Strangely enough, isn't this all of us? And Po-chan barks at him for not making the moment all about him, as he should. Then he pretty much says the exact same things he said to them at last rehearsal, but he comes up with a nifty little ways for them to overcome their shortcomings, which somehow magically makes it okay to point out their flaws. Like, he still said the same thing. You guys are petty AF. During rehearsal, Personality Chan's got to tell real actor to tone it the fuck down because this is a contemporary symbolic art piece and not a balls to the walls high adrenaline musical. And it is already opening night! So soon! But I guess it's so that you get to see God Theatre's play as well. And yeah, that's like how the episode ends. We don't even get to see the play. Episode 23, it's the play! And it's competent! Yeah, like it feels like a proper play and nothing stupid happens. I'm not sure if it makes it better or worse since I wasn't in pain from laughing from it, but I guess that was the same with Summer Troupe's play, so congratulations Scriptor-chan, you have a 50% competency rate. Okay, it did end with real actor holding dying Jack Frost in his arms saying how much he loved him. Mate, you said you were looking forward to doing something different from the princely acting of God Theatre. This doesn't seem much different. The audience is really enjoying the play pretty much because they're all like, oh my gosh, they're so hot. One fan complains that real actor isn't as princely in this play. Look, he's still playing a gay baiting character, so calm down. One girl snaps at Jack Frost. Well, I prefer when real actor performs with pretentious John. Why? That guy is annoying and terrible. Jack Frost is much nicer and cuter and doesn't make me burst a blood vessel at the mere sight of him. Real actor and Jack Frost are out for a walk, thinking of ways to improve their performance, and the head of God Theatre finds Jack Frost. Like, it's a fairly big acting district and they're not hanging near Mankai. How did this guy find him? Was it from having a tracker on his phone? Because that's not very theatre-y of him. It'd be much more camp if he trained multiple pigeons in the area to give him a yoo-hoo whenever they see Jack Frost around. Anyway, he tells him he's still the mediocre, bland actor from when he auditioned for God Theatre. This gives Jack Frost the brainchild at the next show to overact. So the others are there quietly talking about his Earth Bay not having much time left on Earth anyway. And he starts swinging his arms around. No! I cannot live without her! It's beautiful, guys. Man, what show am I going to go to in order to see perfectly executed bad and good performing when this diamond of a show ends? Wheel actor is so mad at his stupid friend for being stupid and fucking up the play. Jack Frost runs off and real actor whinges to Personality Chan and she's like, fix it yourself. And he's like, bruh, you are the director. It is your job to wrangle the actors. But no, she still sends him off. When real actor realizes Jack Frost isn't home, he's in such a rush to see him that he doesn't use his umbrella. Well, he has enough time to grab the umbrella, but not enough time to actually put it up and use it. This is a scene that seems very dramatic and romantic until you think about it with the most minute amount of brain power. So Jack Frost is at his not suicide spot, which is an easy to jump off road bridge. He has been standing in the snow for so long he has it piled up on his head. Okay, no matter how depressed you are about your acting career, you can at least ruffle the snow pile off of your head. Real actor confesses to Jack Frost, I love you, acting. This whole scene was very romantic to what was essentially a conversation about acting. This fixes everything. Hooray, they're all ready for the act-off. Episode 24, we see a montage of all the troops helping out because that's right, today is not only the final episode of Winter Troop arc, it is the final A3 Act Addict Actors episode. Here we go. Hyper-chan is sitting there getting advice on his poster designs from photographer Chan and Andy Warhol. Even though he is currently studying to be a graphic designer and therefore the most qualified out of all of them, Prince Chan busy tweeting away about the act-off. Have no idea how many Twitter followers he has or if he even has any, but he's still doing his part. Gamer-chan there social networking to get either his fat neckbeard gamer bros or his wanky business associates to come see the act-off too. And Summer Troop plus Evil Red are all just adding more feathers to those costumes. Fucking how many prop feathers must cover the stage after a performance? Hot Hair and Gangster Chan run over to see Winter Troop rehearse, and Personality Chan just says, just give them a sec. And we see the troop just lying in a circle on the stage meditating together. So that's how the Winter Troop became so close. They formed their own little mini cult. We had to see Naruto style everyone's excited reactions to Winter Troop performing, and then it lingers on Red Boy, just reminding you who the face of the franchise is. We get to see the end of God Theatre's play, which is literally just this anime as fuck fight scene. Fuck yeah. We see more of Monkey Company's play. Just have a little bit to add to that. So, the main booty hoe Jack Frost is thirsting over is not an actual character in this play. We never see her. Ooh, paying homage to such great works is Waiting for Godot, are we? And Poet Chan and Sleepy Chan's characters really do nothing in this play. Unfortunately, these guys are barely in it. During the play, I think it's Gamer-chan, he muses how they can hold eye contact for so long with one another because they're so close, and how only Winter Troop could pull this play off as a result. Okay, so Winter Troop are the only troop that's not no homo enough to pull this off. Good to know! We briefly get a flashback to Cuddler-chan as a child sitting in a dark room with the TV on by himself looking sad. Okay, is the last episode really the time to drop the child abuse backstory? And, that's all they gave. I have no idea how traumatic his childhood was. Pray tell me more. Now, the end, with more detail than was shown last step. The ending shot is real actor embracing Jack Frost so close, it looks like they're about to kiss, and then he's carrying him off stage bridal style and says the line, not only have I lost the love of my life, I've lost my dearest friend too. So, I'm not sure if that's in reference to the human he fell in love with that was mentioned before, or if he was still talking about Jack Frost. Regardless, this is the most princely style ending ever. This is not a big shift from God theatre work. So, this is what the audience is choosing between an anime's fuck fight scene and an intimate yaoi scene. Look, the yaoi scene is a big step from no Romeo and Julian. Good to see the growth that Scriptor-chan has gone through. Intimate yaoi wins, but only just. Come on, one. Fucking, who's gonna pick a lame play about feelings over a sick-ass fight scene? And two, surely the entirety of the audience would have been filled with die-hard God Theatre fans who'd blindly vote for them regardless of the quality of the play. But this is not just a win for Mankai Company, but a win for theatre, where quality drama bet our cool fighty loud shit, yeah! The Depp gets paid, head of God Theatre is still annoyed, but he's like, I'll catch you next time, yay! Reoccurring villain with more ridiculous theatre shenanigans! Jack Frost says to him, your harsh words made me stop pursuing my dreams, but in the end it led me to the best place, so thank you. Yeah! Thanks for the trauma, mate! Honestly, if he hadn't been mean to him, then he would have passed his God Theatre audition, still acted alongside Real Actor, and then probably just quit around the same time Real Actor would have quit, and still would have joined Mankai Company, just without all the trauma and all of those empty years. Just remembering how God Theatre didn't accept Jack Frost, but they accepted Evil Red? Maybe because of his cameo in a commercial? He mentions how it really got him the commercial job, but not if it was through acting or the company they were advertising for. So maybe he's really used his connections to get him into God Theatre, which is dodgy! Everyone's at the party. Remember that acting award that was mentioned once and then dropped? Well, that's brought up again randomly, so that's the Troupe's next goal, to win that award. Another shot of seeing everyone's reactions and holding on Red Boys whilst deep in thought. Oh my god, what is it? What? He sits out with Personality-chan, reminiscing about when he was the only member of Mankai Company. Oh my god, that was so long ago. And the acting award's called the Fleur Award, which is a flower. So he asks Personality-chan the significance of said flower. And you got me all worked up that he was gonna leave or something. And she says because when actors go on stage, they bloom. And that's what she does and wants to keep on doing. Watching and making these guys bloom. Aww, and end of entire series! No, it's over. This show started at the start of 2020 and ended at the end of 2020 due to its delayed release from COVID. I think when I watched a show or read a manga over a long period of time, I do feel a bit sad when it ends, which is the case for this one. Plus, there is never going to be another acting anime or just anime in general with the same feel as this one. I just saw something else I love about this series, and it's the emphasis on talent. That seems like a dumb thing to say, like it's a show about acting. Of course they have to mention talent, but have you seen the amount of idol shows that never mention it? Or if anything, the talented group in the show is the villain, and the emphasis is so much more on making people happy than actually being good at your job. Just infuriating. Now, awards! Well, not awards, just my thoughts and opinions. Best boy is hot hair, cause the hairman, followed closely by every fucking member of Summer Troupe. Such a joy. Where's Boy is Gamer Bro? Because he shoved Personality-chan up against a wall and shouted in her face, boo! The tough one. Best arc. This is tricky, except for Spring Troupe. That was easily the worst, so they don't have to be considered. It's tricky because all the characters in these troupes are likable. Might take out Winter Troupe because their play was actually good, aka no fun. And Summer Troupe was fun, dealing with bratty Mr. Famous. But the combination of backstory monologues and evil theatre troupe shenanigans sold it for me. So best arc was the Autumn Troupe arc. That finishes all of my A3 Addict actor podcasts, depressingly enough. And that was episode 18 of Anime for Trashdwellers. I am planning on releasing other podcasts from the what is it? Winter 2020? Is that what? I can't remember what these are. Well, last anime season. I am planning on releasing other podcasts from last anime season. I promise they are, well, I hope they are coming. Planning they are coming. Who knows? On Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr, Insufferable Weeb. Bye.